All right, you saw the title. You read it. You saw the thumbnail too of for you being homeless or whatever. So you'll know that this video has to do with legendary doodles. Now, the title says legendary doodles don't feel legendary anymore. Well, that's because in the last year, we've gotten for the last 2 years, maybe three, we've gotten a lot more legendaries. Most of them being events. But I will have to say that some of them don't exactly feel like legendaries. Now, I'm just going to say it before we start the video. I do not dislike any of these guys. None of these guys are disliked. In fact, this video is not made to like diss anyone who created these guys. These guys are all cool. I'm just saying, like, I just think that some of these legendaries don't exactly fit the legendary title, but 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 that doesn't mean that this is like disrespecting them or anything. This is just saying that I don't think they fit it. That's all I'm saying with this video. Anyway, like last time, I made a tier list, but actually, I made two tier lists. One just to show how they feel legendary in the lore of Doodle Worlds, and two, the second one is just a PvP. So let's go on to the first one. All right, so here's the tier list, and um, we got the tiers. We got Mythic Doodles. We're not going to talk about any of these. These guys, they're not important here. They're just here to show you that they're not really important. We're not going to talk about these guys, but just to let you know, they're Mythic Doodles that are here. We got feels legendary, kind of feels legendary, doesn't really feel legendary, and should be like Orivalis. Now, let me explain should be like Orivalis. Now, should be like Orivalis is kind of like legendaries that should be like Orivalis, in my opinion. And what that means is Orivalis is a doodle that only appears during June, or Pride Month, which is because it's the Pride doodle. And why Orivalis basically gets this doodle should be like Orivalis is because Orivalis is a rare doodle that actually can't be printed, but it's not a legendary. So it's like, in my opinion, a semi-legendary. And I don't think it's a bad thing that the guys down here should be like Orivalis. Now, I'm not gonna explain all of these guys, but I will explain the ones that kind of like feel weird. So first of all, let me explain all the guys in should be Orivalis tier. So first of all, Glubby. Glubby's kind of weird because I feel like it's only a legendary because of Hero Havoc. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like if you're a legendary because you're from another game, that's kind of weird. Because Glubby doesn't really have any lore in the game. Like, the quest to get Glubby, you kind of just pops out at you, and he kind of just runs away. And that's it. No real Glubby lore. In the Dex entry, it just says he's a prankster, but that's about it. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing that Glubby's a legendary. I don't think it's really explained how it's a legendary, other than the fact it's from Hero Havoc. Now, for the next doodle, Lancelope, I just, once again, it's not a bad thing it's a legendary. It just doesn't really give off that legendary, feeling. Now, its next entry, which is on screen, I kind of forgot it, but basically it explains how it lost all motivation and how back then it used to be like, oh, so cheerful and jolly, and the only thing left is the scarf. Um, I'd say that's kind of Ori Valis level of a Dex entry. Well, that's not like, oh, hey, that's a bad thing. It's just, I don't know, because this doodle doesn't really give off like a legendary vibe, right? Like, I think it does deserve legendary, but at the same time, it doesn't give off the vibe. Now, we're gonna move on to Werewolf. These two are kind of just self-explanatory. This guy is revived by Hatrix and goes looking for its original owner, and this guy evolves and becomes a bodyguard. Um, I think Werewolf as a legendary is interesting because originally in the concept art, it's a community created legendary, by the way. In the concept art, it wasn't stated to be a legendary. It was stated to be a normal doodle, but it was made a legendary, which I didn't dislike. I think this guy is pretty cool. But I think it would make more sense to be like an Orivalis doodle because like it's like wandering around. Like I'm pretty sure the deck says something along the lines of it's like it like went searching all around the world or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know that it went searching for its original owner, and once it finds it, it just evolves. So yeah, I think Zomuppy, is it Zomuppy or Zompuppy? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think Zomuppy and Werewolf should be Orivalis like. I don't know. And then Just Swirl is like Just Swirl is kind of self-explanatory. Sure, it was the first Easter legendary, but all it says about Just Swirl is that it's like extremely rare, but it's always certain to appear on Easter to play with like the kids and stuff. And I feel like back then, when Just Swirl was first released, everyone was like questioning it, like how is this guy legendary? But like after that, it kind of did give off the legendary vibes. Now it's kind of like weird because I feel like sometimes it gives it off, other times it doesn't. But yeah, I think all these guys, they deserve the legendary title of their own right, but it would also make sense for them to be like Orivalis. Now we're gonna go on to Bungo since I'm just gonna say it. Bungo is literally just a slime cat, and that's all he is, right? Like it's explained how it eats everything to like grow, but other than that, it's like not really legendary feeling. Like I don't think it should be like an Orivalis doodle, but like it doesn't really feel legendary to me. I think a few other people can agree with that too. Uh, but yeah, it just doesn't feel legendary. Even with its deck saying it eats everything. Now, let's move on to these doodles. Now, I'm only gonna select a few. I'm only explain these two because I feel like these two are kind of self-explanatory, even though they have like story. Actually, I'll explain all. So, okay, I'm gonna explain Majestic. Majestic is like weird because like it just says that everywhere it goes, it wants to be respected like a king or something. Pretty sure that's what it says. I'm not completely sure. Actually, I'm gonna go check that real quick. Here's it says. It is never seen without its crown. The crown is a sign that it has a right to rule, and it radiates pure dignity with its aura alone. Those who display proper estigate, oh my god, are more likely to earn its respect. Okay, so basically, it's basically showing that it has like a right to rule and it radiates like dignity. Now I just want to say the reason why it's not in Fields Legendary is because I feel like just being an egg with a crown doesn't really make you like a legendary. And its entries like, oh, it radiates pure dignity. I think Steed just does a better job at that. Because like Steed is like kind of like a warrior and a king. Like it's like a fusion of both. And we'll talk about that. Not actually. I'm gonna talk about more with Omnitrot. Let's just move on to Omnitrot. Omnitrot kind of feels like a legendary, but like other than I don't know. It's Omnitrot's kind of just a random horse, but I really feel like it's not a legendary. I feel like it deserves the legendary title, but it's kind of weird with it because like the deck says chefs believe that encountering an Omnitron is a sign of culinary luck every year. So basically every year many chefs go on the hunt for an Omnitrot, and basically Omnitrot here is just like explained as like a really rare horse that is like, oh, if you encounter one, it's like it's really lucky or something. So yeah, I think Omnitrot and Majestic are weird because like I feel like they deserve legendary to be legendaries, but like they're kind of just weird legendaries. So that's why they're in kind of feels like legendaries. Steed is like a fusion of both, and it's definitely not normal to see Egg riding a horse, and that horse has armor. So yeah, that's definitely not normal. Anyway, I'm gonna explain Hopalate real quick, then we'll go over a few Feels legendary doodles. Hopalate is weird because one, um, it's literally just the Easter Bunny. I don't think the Easter Bunny in a world full of magical creatures is like very like legendary like, but like still, I feel like the Easter Bunny would be somewhat of a legendary encounter because it's the Easter Bunny. It's like that one. It's like the one thing that's like this like. It's like the one thing behind Easter. Like it's not like the true meaning of Easter, but like it's like one of the. It's the Easter Bunny's like one of the things that's like related to Easter the most because it's named the Easter Bunny, obviously. I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, it kind of feels legendary, even though it's just like a chocolate bunny, but it's also basically the Easter Bunny. Now, we're gonna do a few. We're gonna do like at least three Feels legendaries. I want to start off with Relicanus. Relicanus. I feel like Relicanus is self-explanatory because like it's literally a ghost of an extinct species of dragon that used to like rule over the earth until it went extinct, and then it's like in constant search of its like bones to restore what was once lost. And I feel like it's like really gives off a legendary feeling to it because like not only it used to rule the world, but it's like constantly searching to restore that glory, right? So yeah, I feel like like Relicanus of all legendaries here definitely deserves to be a legendary, like over all of these doodles here. But we're gonna go to the next one, which is actually Artifixy. I'm gonna explain Artifixy a bit because actually before recording this, it was kind of like Artifixy was kind of just weird because like we were debating if base Artifixy felt like a legendary, and Artifixy is weird because like okay, Artifixy was in the Doodle War, and Artifixy was only one is literally the only legendary other than Malzuri and well, I don't know if Zerzura, but Zerzura. But Artifixy is literally the only confirmed legendary to actually be a part of it other than Malzuri. And the thing is, Artifixy itself doesn't feel really legendary, but like Artifixy, I believe, was smart enough to build this mech, and I'm pretty sure like the war was like thousands of years old, and there's definitely not more than one Artifixy. There's like only one Artifixy. So if you think about it, this mech is also like thousands of years old, and it's like in today's conditions, like in Doodle World like conditions, in like the present, it still looks completely fine. I mean, I'm sure Artifixy would like every now and then repair it over the years, but like it's pretty crafty of Artifixy, and I think um Artifixy would probably be considered a war hero, even though it's like currently a prankster in the present day. But I feel like Artifixy here, I feel like base is weird because base feels it kind of feels like a legendary, but like in the context of like the Doodle War, it definitely feels like a legendary. But without it, it's not really legendary. I don't know, it's weird, but I feel like it's one of the out of all of these doodles and feels legendary, it's kind of weird to be here, you know. So yeah, I think the final example I want to go over is probably Arachniac. Oh, I'll go over Arachniac and maybe one more. Arachniac, I feel like is really obvious because like it's like a doodle that's physically banned from being like captured because it literally drains the life out of anything within I believe 50 I think it's 50 something. Hold on. I forgot. It's like 500 meters. What is it? 500 meters of it. So yeah. Okay. Also, if you look inside its pumpkin, your soul will slowly burn away. So yeah. So you're basically not only you're not allowed to own Arachniac, but it literally drains the life out of every living creature within the 500 meters. Like, dude, like if this wasn't considered a legendary, I wouldn't know what would be considered a legendary. Because what do you mean this giant spider just casually just drains the life out of everything around it. Hello? Anyway, I think the last one I want to go over is probably Creme Dust. Creme Dust is weird. My opinions on Creme Dust, like when it was added, are mixed because like, why was it added when Koryu was already a thing? Like I don't know. It's weird. I think Creme Dust is a cool doodle, but adding it like as another winter doodle is strange. But I guess it's kind of fitting. I don't know. It's weird. My opinions on Creme Dust is like, oh, it's this guy's basically like in PvP this guy basically stole Koryu's job. But I don't know. Anyway, Corey Creme Dust actually got its dex like a few updates ago, and in the context of its dex entry, it actually makes a lot more sense why this guy's a legendary. Basically, it waits for the end of the year with anticipation, and it only emerges when like winter is at its darkness. And it's not like the thing is, even though it has a trait called Evil Glare, it's not waiting like with evil intentions. It's waiting with judgment, whatever that means. So basically, Creme Dust seems to be a very judgmental doodle, and only appears because like the concept art lore was that Creme Dust like was surviving off of coal to live. So like I don't know what that's about, but it was apparently surviving off of coal to live in the concept arts lore. But like in the actual game's lore, Creme Dust is just some guy, some reindeer waiting for like waiting for the winter to go to be its darkest to like judge some kids or something. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like Creme Dust, purely because of its dex entry, like the context behind it, I feel like that makes it just legendary enough. Like, I think if Creme Dust is like legendary here, everything else here is legendary. Twister and Cherryguard is interesting. Cherryguard's definitely like a very powerful doodle, and I think Cherryguard definitely deserves to be legendary. And Twister is literally like I quote the Joker as a doodle. Whatever, like it's what Jet said. What the guy who actually made the thumbnail? Go say hi to Jet if you watch this video. Anyway, I think that's enough explaining all these guys. If you want the reason behind all of the other doodles here, you could like read their dex entries or like play story. Like if you play story, you definitely know that Kronos 100% deserves to be here. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the PvP list now because I've been yapping for like 16 minutes already. So we gotta move on. All right, now we're on to the PvP tier list, and I think just for time's sakes, I'm only gonna explain like one thing from here, like two things for here, not including the laser forms, three things from here, and three things from here as well. So, first of all, let's explain bad. We'll go over Relic Honest, since that's honestly the worst thing here. So Relic Honest is basically Ash Greninja. And unlike Ash Greninja, the base form has terrible stats. Now, Relic Honest has all of these things to like make it good. Like it literally has Mind Empowerment, Sharpen, War Cry, Quick Thinking, has a lot of coverage, literally got Pursuit, and it still manages to be bad. Wanna know why? Because base form stats just suck, and being Ash Greninja absolutely sucks for it too. Like, I feel like being Ash Greninja instead of some other gimmick literally ruins Relic Honest, like, as a doodle, because, like, the base form stats are so weak that you can't even get a kill. Like, I was told that Lethal Crunch Relic Honest couldn't kill a 27% Aerie Stole. A 27% Aerie Stole. And he couldn't kill it. Like, I don't know, Relic Honest is just, that's how bad it is. Now, we're gonna move on from bad, because if this guy is bad, I don't need to explain these two. We'll explain Koryu, because Koryu being a niche, is definitely weird. So, as I said in the other, in the first half of this video, Kremdus stole Koryu's job as offensive ice starter. Now, what that means is Koryu is currently homeless and is now a niche legendary. While it has Pursuit, FTL, good traits generally, and like is basically unwallable, is unwallable. It literally lacks the damage output and speed that Kremdus has. Kremdus literally has 10 more speed in it and 20 more attack or magical attack. Kremdus even has the same attacking stat as Koryu. Kremdus is literally just a frailer Koryu, and that doesn't matter because like Kremdus still can like do more than Koryu. Like that's actually insane. I don't know. Koryu's just dude. Koryu used to be so good in like season 0, and then they got nerfed along with Infernius, and then now this guy is just homeless on the streets because of Kremdus. Like the moment Kremdus was added, Koryu kind of just got invalidated, and that's kind of unfortunate. Anyway, that's enough talking about Koryu. Let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about Glubby. Glubby is a very very fat spirit poison type, like literally 200 HP and 120 magical defense. I'm pretty sure it's 120 magical. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 120 magical defense. It is 120 magical defense. 120 magical defense and like 4 defense, but that 4 defense doesn't really matter when you have so much health. Now, what makes Glubby niche? It has no healing, except for like rest, and rest isn't very reliable. And I feel like it's kind of its main problem. Like, it doesn't have any healing. Like, unlike these guys, like not having healing for this kind of just sucks. Like, okay, it does have Burning Orb, West Blade, Jolly Dance. It does have setup, and it does have like pretty nice coverage for what it is. But overall, Glubby's just a niche doodle, like for a legendary. And I think, honestly, that's fine that Glubby doesn't have like solid healing, because I feel like it doesn't need it. I feel like Sea Cryan being the only good defensive spirit poison is fine, because Sea Cryan already has like a lot on its plate. Like it has pivot, bee summon, and it disables items, and that's really good. That's really good to have. Now, let's move on to potential tier, and I'm gonna go over Jack-o'-lantern, because Jack-o'-lantern had insane potential, with the balance changes, and then Wish, I don't know what happened, but its trait got changed like 3 times. So Jack-o'-lantern is like, I don't know, Jack-o'-lantern's weird, because like Ice Spark is like pretty nice offensively. You're only completely walled like by Bubble and I think 1 crystal type. I forgot which crystal type, but sir. Unless you run Daze, but you almost never run Daze. And its traits, like, I think its traits are generally alright. Well, not Hidden Trait. Hidden Trait's kind of butt now. But its traits are generally alright. Like, the normal trait basically makes your ice moves do more damage and weathers, and that's a really good tool for like weathers, because like some weathers like Sandstorm can't exactly hit plants that hard. So having Jack-o'-lantern and Sandstorm is really nice, and I think that's good. However, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Jack-o'-lantern's hidden trait, Cold Circuit, which Cold Circuit, before the balance changes, it boosted speed when you inflicted a status. Currently, for some reason, now it boosts attack and magical attack instead of speed. So basically, that's actually worse for Jack-o'-lantern, because not only it doesn't get the speed boost, but you're like, I feel like you can't like, I feel like having both 2 attack boosts, and like, I don't know, it's weird, because like having an attack boost is like, it's kind of useless. I mean, it really depends on your set, but like that's kind of just bad, honestly. I don't know. I feel like speed's just better in general, and like having 2 attack boosts. Because think about this: you put something to sleep, you can like set up an enlightenment, compose, toughen, whatever. and you have a speed boost, so you can do that while outspeeding the whole team. Now you can't do that because not only you lack the speed to actually do that, but you also no, you just don't lack the speed. You lack the speed. You just lack the speed. Like you get revenge killed so easily now because you lack the speed. And this is like and this is not even like okay. Jack-o'-lantern in theory should have been good, but unfortunately it's currently with its hinge rate, it's just not there yet. It just needs a better hinge rate. Now, enough about Jack-o'-lantern. Let's move on to like Malzuri. Malzuri is like Malzuri is honestly just waiting for like its future moves. Malzuri did get Shadow Nerf, like, but it was only like 5 magical attack, and that doesn't really change it. While I do enjoy like mind empowerment, magical jelly, Malzuri. Malzuri used to be really good with Awakened Jalopy when Bell Jelly was still like broken, and the Bell Jelly and Malzuri itself have been broken, like have been nerfed multiple times. Like Malzuri literally lost Siren Song because of Bell Jelly. Well, no, because of Jalopy in general. But like, man, that's kind of annoying because now I can't like. Now I'm forced to use Magical Jelly now. Now I blame Jalopy for Malzuri getting nerfed in the first place, but overall Malzuri just had potential. It just needs better tools. Now, right now, currently, I think Malzuri can be good because Stagan isn't around right now. Stagan was killed, thrown off a cliff. It's currently, for context, it's currently banned in the season. So yeah, Malzuri probably has a chance, but otherwise, I think Malzuri, just needs better tools. It needs future level up moves. I think Shard Surge will actually somewhat help Malzuri. I don't know. It helps compose sets, like compose rest sets, so you can just run Shard Surge, Teletoss or Psycho Force, whatever, compose and rest. But like, yeah, obviously you have to wait for Shard Surge. Oh my god, I've been talking too much. Anyway, let's go over Tiger Soul. I think Tiger Soul just got Warcry back, and it's like normal trait, like Grand Entrance is like absolutely broken. But I feel like its typing offensively is very unfortunate. And it has no healing, so you can't really use it defensively either. Well, you can, but you have to operate without healing, and that's not really the best thing to do with a Mind type. So, Warcry is nice, because obviously you have like the defenses to actually like set up and stuff, but Tiger Soul's main problem is its offensive typing sucks. It does get like Crunch and Reckless Charge, but the problem with Reckless Charge is you recoil yourself to hit metal types. Now, currently, I don't actually think you need to do that to hit metal types, but I feel like Tiger Soul's offensive typing is just really unfortunate, and your coverage being like 80 base power moves doesn't really help that much, especially Crunch. An 80 base power beast move isn't really that helpful, actually. I think you'd actually be better off with like Metal Stab. Overall, Tiger Soul has potential. I think it just needs better tools, and there's not much else to talk about. Now here, I think I'm gonna go over. We already talked about a bit about Creme Dust. Let's go over Omnitron actually. So right now, currently, I'm pretty sure Omnitron is better than Ruby Steed. I don't think it's better than Toughen Steed, but it's definitely better than Ruby Steed. The reason being is Omnitron is really fast, 125 speed. Now, you can run the fireworks equipment, and suddenly you are hitting harder than Steed with pivot. So basically, you're like Steed with pivot. And Omnitron as a revenge killer is really nice because you swap in 2 arms activates and you nuke something that comes in. And Omnitron is actually pretty easy to pair with a pursuit user, like let's say the moon dungeon doodle. It'll be on screen since I can't pronounce it. Creme Dust itself actually Creme Dust, yeah. Even Knock at times. Knock is a decent pursuit user with Omnitron. There's an interaction with Omlatron and Knock, but that'll probably be like in another video, maybe. I don't know. But overall, yeah, Omlatrot's just pretty nice. I think it's in a perfect spot. The one thing I would like Omlatrot to get is like better food stab overall, but I don't think Omlatrot actually needs it currently. I don't know. It's not like a need; it's more of a want right now. But yeah, Almatra is in a good spot for what it is. Anyway, let's talk about Infernius. Infernius, kind of got thrown under the bench with like the fire, with like light resisting fire. But overall, Infernius doesn't really need to be changed because the enlightenment set is really good. You can run Sharpen. It's like a pretty decent fire type to slot, and Infernius itself actually needs any changes. Infernius is just like, oh, fat, decently fast fire type that you can just run Enlightenment on. And with that, it kind of like breaks some light types. I've seen like Illumiline get broken by Infernius, and that's crazy, honestly. I was Illumiline, and yeah, I got broken by Infernius. But you get my point. I think Infernius doesn't really need to be changed. And for the last doodle to be mentioned here, let's actually say Quillentel. I think Quillentel out of all these legendaries actually had the biggest glow up. Because Quillentel, when like half of these guys were around, like when like before I believe, let's just say before Tiger Soul. Actually no, before Steed. Quillentel wasn't that good. As a metal type, it was awful. It hindered your team. Didn't have any utility, or it had utility. It just wasn't worth using over other metal or light types. Overall, Quillentel was like a niche pick. But now, with light resisting fire, it's neutral to fire. It now has Burning Orb, Commanding Blow, Mock Charge, Teletoss. Actually, it just got Teletoss. It even has what's his face? What is it? Dispose. It has you're using Teletoss, not Dispose, but basically, Quillentel as a metal type is really good. Sure, it does hinder your teams, but Cremdus also does that. Cremdus also hinders your team. And you know what? That's fine, because Cremdus is like, I feel like Quillentel and Cremdus are like worth it when it comes to hindering your team. Because not running a light type isn't the end of the world. And not running a dark type is also not the end of the world. Would you like it? Would you prefer it? Yeah, sure. But overall, that's not the end of the world if you can't run that. Like, so yeah. That's it for this video. Basically, take this with a grain of salt. If your favorite legendary is like down here somewhere, I'm sorry, but basically this video is to tell you that some legendaries don't feel like legendaries, and in PvP, some of them also don't feel like legendaries because they're like terrible like Relicanus or niche like Koryu. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll definitely do an updated video when either some of these legendaries get buffed or we get like a lot more new legendaries. Hopefully main story legendaries, because we need more of those. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, which is hopefully the chill out video that should be coming out tomorrow. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.